All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown day 444 by my count, I think. So what's going on? What's going down? Well, I want to address something without addressing it directly because I don't think I can address it directly, or something bad might happen to my account, which is to point out that my account on YouTube was put on hiatus against my will for mentioning certain topics a certain way. And then in the last, 48 hours, basically everything I said has been validated by other people, but I don't want to say what it is because I'll get another strike on my channel, and that'll be 3 strikes and I'll be out. Because they gave me 2 in 2 days, one for a violation of some kind of policy, and then another one for commenting on how their policy doesn't make any sense. So that's about all I want to say, because I don't want a 3rd strike. So we're going to talk about something completely different and not controversial, which is Taiwan. So let's, here's my understanding, okay? Here's my understanding. The Communist Party, the Chinese Communist Party, was fighting their revolution to take over China. They were battling with Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalists, and like the Kuomintang. Is that the same thing? They're not the Kuomintang. Is that the same thing? I don't know. And basically, Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalists kind of like lost, in the chaos. I think of like World War II and right after the Japanese invasion and all that. They fled to Taiwan. Taiwan is an island off the east coast of China. And there they set up their own country. Now, John Cena, the wrestler, actor, whatever, he's in some new Fast and the Furious movie because we don't have enough big muscly guys in movies about car racing or whatever. Have they gone into space yet on one of these movies? I stopped watching after like the 3rd one or something, but don't they go into outer space? Anyways. John Cena, in an interview, referred to Taiwan as its own country. Because it is. This is this violates the CCP's philosophy that there is one China, not 2 Chinas, and Taiwan is not a separate country. So, because they don't want their Fast and Furious movie to be banned from distribution in China, he issued an apology, I guess in bad Mandarin. Like, he did it in Mandarin, which is kind of impressive. I don't speak Mandarin. An apology, though, for referring to Taiwan as a separate country. Now, I may have mentioned this before on this program, if you can call this a program, that the Chinese Communist Party influence over our culture and Hollywood is, I want to say it's unacceptable. On the one hand, I want our, movies to be shown in China. I want them to see movies that we make. Like, if I made a movie, I would like it to be shown in China. But we have a problem. And this problem goes back to the Red Dawn remake. Now, again, I may have referenced this before, but the Red Dawn remake was the canary in the coal mine as far as the Chinese Communist Party tolerating American content and influencing the production and creation of said content. Now, what do I mean? Well, Red Dawn is a movie from 1984 or 85, I think. I believe it was the first movie to receive an R rating because children literally murder people. But it was the height of the Cold War, and they set up a quick little scenario like, if these couple things happen, then, there's no more NATO, and then the Russians and the Cubans, invade America, and, limited nuclear strikes, and then children have to become partisans. It's a little bit like Afghanistan. And they hold up in the mountains with hunting rifles and fight off the commies, right? Well, they decided to reboot this film back in, 2012, I believe? And I was excited for it. I love Red Dawn. Wolverines! How do you not love Red Dawn? But the CCP sunk its talons in. Why? Because obviously it's 2012. We're not afraid of the Soviet Union invading us anymore. The Cold War's over. So who would invade us? China. China would invade us. Okay. So, I mean, not really, but a believable, sort of scenario. You could create the scenario if you want. Uh-oh. Go get him, flashing bro. Okay. All right, let's go. So they made it China. And China invading us. They've got the people. They've got some materials. They got nukes. It could be a scenario where China invades us. But they didn't want to play that in China, so they weren't going to distribute the film in China. So they went back in post. That's post-production, for people who don't know. Film lingo. I know from all my years in the business, as they say. They went back in post, and they edited all of the Chinese flags to be North Korean flags, even though the actors playing the Chinese soldiers were actually Chinese and not Korean. Not even never mind North Korean. They weren't even South Korean. They were Chinese. Anyways, they changed all that around so that the Chinese Communist Party wouldn't be offended. Never mind the Chinese people. I don't know what the Chinese people would find offensive, right? Would they be bothered by a story about the Chinese invading America and then us fighting them off as patriot partisans? Or would they think that story's cool too? I would think they might think that story's cool too. Not us demonizing the Chinese. It's saying, hey, we're kind of paranoid too. And they're probably afraid that, you could do a Chinese version of Red Dawn where we invade them and, do things. And then they have to, hide out in the mountains, and they have their heroes and whatnot. I hope they have that already, actually. I hope they have a Chinese version of Red Dawn already. Anyways, that was the canary in the coal mine. So now, John Cena. Now, it's Fast and the Furious 15 or whatever, and he just referred to Taiwan as a separate country, and then he has to issue an apology. And you have to... I'm gonna be a little bit charitable and say maybe, it's not just him, right? It's the whole cast, it's the whole franchise, it's the whole... Let's see if you can see homeboy over here. He was here yesterday. His pants are falling apart, talking to God, just doing, I mean, again, I'm not trying to shame people. It's just, how many days can that go on? How many days can you live like that? Just saying. Anyways, no, I mean, John Cena has to do an apology because it's the studio, it's the rest of the cast, it's the whole production, probably the whole franchise. The Chinese government will probably be like, we'll never show another Fast and the Furious movie or allow a Fast and Furious movie to be sold on DVD or whatever anywhere in China if you don't apologize right now. Because they can't have John Cena, who's kind of like, how would I put it? He's kind of like modern day Schwarzenegger or modern day Stallone, right? Superstar, right? They can't have him referring to Taiwan as a different country because all their propaganda is Taiwan is sort of temporarily an unruly, a black sheep of China, not its own country with its own destiny and its own identity. So, I'll be a little bit charitable, but apparently his Mandarin was bad. Like, his Mandarin was not good in his apology. But, yeah. So that's where we're at. I mean, like, when you think about, like, how you look at the way our media operates, you know what I mean? Like, we've had over a year now, well, approaching a year of corporate pandering to Black Lives Matter. They change their logos and they all issue statements and blah, blah, blah. And then a lot of these same companies, pander to the Chinese, the technocratic authoritarian regime of the Chinese Communist Party. And masquerade as though they have some kind of moral authority, even though they're pandering to them at the same time that they're pandering to Black Lives Matter and acting like they're progressive. It's pseudo-progressive nonsense that's meant to, like, it's weird because it's like it makes them look good, but pandering to China doesn't make you look good. So it's like it's like weird. It's like a weird hypocrisy, like weird dichotomy. But yeah. So to get the Fast and the Furious movie released in China, they got one of their biggest stars to apologize for acknowledging that Taiwan is its own country. That's Hollywood for you. There's no principles here. There's no standards. There's no moral, there's no moral posture here. It's purely money. Dollar bill, y'all. All right. That's enough proselytizing from me for one day. What is this, Tuesday? I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.